Hello everyone and welcome to another Top 5 Records video. It's the month of October and for me, a horror film fan, that's a special month because I'm just all over horror stuff. So also musically, I'm taking a look at some artists who are borrowing from horror genre, the scary stuff. So there's no denying that then Alice Cooper is one of the most important artists around. And that's why today I'm going to be taking a special look at Billion Dollar Babies, perhaps Alice Cooper's best album. Now, I'm also going to tell you about my quest to find a good sounding copy because here I have three pressings: a first Dutch pressing, a first UK pressing, and I have to note there the Pete Norman pressing because I was urged online to go and find a Pete Norman pressing. So the first UK is a Pete Norman lacquer cut Pete Norman, and a first US pressing. Now I was really lucky to find the first Dutch pressing. Not that it's per se such a brilliant or hard to find copy, but it was 10 years ago and I found it in a thrift store for about 70 cents. I mean, I call it a bargain. What was the sound like? Well, I enjoyed this pressing for what it was. I really loved the digital versions of this album that I heard. I fell in love with the digital version, and then finding an original or a final copy, the first Dutch pressing, I was just thrilled and happy to play it over my, well, let's say, not so good sound system back then. But I upgraded the sound system and listening to more records, I noticed uh, something is missing. So I thought, I gotta find a better version because this one, um, the sound is thin. It has this thin tin can quality and it sounds thin. Gotta make a good distinction between the two of those with my Dutch accent, but it's tin can quality. You know what I mean? So it's I want something better. So online, I found, I believe it was the Steve Huffman forum, people talking about the first UK being better than the first US because Pete Norman was said to have done an incredible job on the mastering. So about 3 years ago, I was in London for work. I spent the summer there, one of my days off. I just went looking for vinyl, and at Red Records in the south of London, I found this, the first UK pressing in a beautiful, good quality state. The quality of the vinyl is near min minus. It has the I'll show you. It has this $1 billion bill, which I really love, and you rarely find that. At least I rarely find it. So I was so thrilled to buy it for about £14, which is no price for such an incredible album. And I was especially happy because I thought this would be the ultimate sounding version. But comparing it to my Dutch pressing, the quality difference is basically the big quality difference you have when you have a Dutch pressing and a UK pressing and they have the same stampers. There is a difference in loudness and in freshness, in punch, and in overall warmth. That's just the difference in a lot of those pressing plants from the late 60s, early 70s. At least that's what I noticed um, with Beatles records. That difference is here the same. Minor, minor difference. It's not that these are the same stampers, but the mastering does sound the same. This one is still, yeah, thin with a tin can quality to it. It's never vibrant. It never comes to live. It is not, I think, not a spectacular pressing. So I was really disappointed by this one. Although the quality of the cover and all is good, I did play this one more, but I thought, you know what? Perhaps I just gotta accept that if this is better than the first US, this album is just not such a spectacular sounding album. But that doesn't seem right because it's produced by Bob Ezrin. Bob Ezrin is one of my favorite producers. He always has this full, warm sound. And when it's a good pressing of a Bob Ezrin record, you have such an incredible dynamic range. These records can be audiophile presentations, and he captures a band capturing their true essence and giving it this full, often warm sound. And how can it be that Alice Cooper is missing that? So 2 months ago, I was in San Francisco in the Bay Area, and I found this for about, I believe, $8 or $9, the first U.S. pressing of Billion Dollar Babies, and I was hesitating. Seriously, I was hesitating, um, because, well, if the first UK is supposed to be better, what can you do? But I thought I might give it a shot, and if not, then it's also always fun to have the original from the country of origin, just for collecting value. So I put this on, and I compared it, and as a matter of fact, this smokes the other ones by a. I mean, the difference is enormous. The difference is enormous overall. This has a clarity. The voice, the vocals are, I mean, it's tough to refer to. Am I referring with Alice Cooper to the band or the vocalist? Because of course, during this period, Alice Cooper was still the band's name, and later on, what's the later on the main vocalist borrowed the name Alice Cooper. Um, yeah, it says Alice Cooper. So now Alice Cooper is the vocalist in the band, is just part of the vocalist. Now, the voice of Alice Cooper, Alice Cooper's vocals, they are so much more defined, fuller, warmer, obviously, but the definition is enormous. I hear more of the nuances in what he is singing. I hear more of the emotion that lies behind it, and I even hear certain changes in the sound, the way the voice drops on the mic, with on and off axis, or if a certain phrase or certain sound just has a little different tone. The representation of what was going on in the studio is just very, very good here, and I love that. It's such a beautiful pressing. Then the guitar, full, warm, but still with the raw power that it should have. It's incredible. When you have horns or trumpets, they sound full and dynamic, and it is so good. The punch on the bass drum, the kick, bam, the kick drum, it's there. You feel it through this pressing. This one beats the other two enormously. It's just the difference is you cannot neglect it. So my advice, if you find an original for $8, even if you do not like it, buy it, because this is a good pressing, and if one day you will like it, you will have a pressing that's so much better than what I've heard before. So I'm curious, do you agree, do you disagree? Leave a comment below and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.